Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our CYPHER Live. This session of CYPHER Live features Graham Glass, CTO and CEO and founder of CYPHER Learning, and of course, our resident in-house AI expert, enthusiast, and learning visionary with AI. And today he's going to walk you through some of the updates for CYPHER Agent for Learner. We launched the initial version of CYPHER Agent for Learner a few weeks ago, earlier in the summer, with a lot of resources that we hope our customers are leveraging. But this is a really exciting new update that's going to open up a whole bunch of new doors. So I'm really glad you're here to see what Graham has to show us. This is a sneak peek. It's not out in GA yet. It will be, and we will make sure that you know when it is. As always, if you have any questions for Graham, please drop them in the Q&A and we'll be able to answer them at the end. This session is being recorded. We will share the recording and make it available on our website, the resources pro tips page. If you go to our website under resources and look for pro tips, you'll be able to see all of these recordings. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Graham to show you what's going on.
Super. Thank you so much, Caitlin. So I thought I'd start today with just a personal story. It is related to AI. And I think it's quite funny, but also gives you a little bit of insight into what's going on in the world right now. So I've got two young boys, 4 years old and 8 years old. And my 8-year-old is called Branson. And for some reason, Branson and one of his friends are really into the idea of buying their own island. I've got no idea why, and it's not like I give them enough pocket money to do that. But right now, it's like the most enthusiastic thing out of Branson is, Daddy, I can build a new island. So it's really interesting to me because I've introduced him to AI, and he's very comfortable speaking to the AI. He doesn't use it for homework, but he's using it for doing research on what it would take to actually build your own island or buy an island and then build on it. And every day he's digging into, well, would there be enough food on the island and what biomes are available on the island and so forth. And it's so interesting to me that a kid who's 8 years old instantly gets that the way for him to develop new ideas rapidly in areas that he's not an expert in is using AI. And if it wasn't for that, it would be much, much harder for him. He'd be on the internet Googling and who knows where it would take him. And so it's just interesting that even in our own family, AI is already playing quite a role. Which brings me back to the more business side of things, which is why is CYPHER Learning so enthusiastic about the potential of AI? And, obviously, we've got a very nice cloud-hosted learning platform. It's been out for quite a while. It's got a beautiful UI, all the usual kind of stuff that you would expect in a learning platform. But I think what AI unlocks in the learning platform is the ability to do things in much more real time, learning in the moment, conversational, dealing with situations that maybe a course creator had not thought of before. And if you look at the stats on AI, it's amazing. It's something like 700 million users a week or so are using just OpenAI. That's not even counting Anthropic and Gemini. So that's like 10% of the human race is already using it on a weekly basis. So there's definitely something going on. And when AI first got, well, real AI like ChatGPT got released a few years ago, I'm such an enthusiast. I'm a bit of a Trekkie from my early days. And it became really obvious that we can use AI to take learning platforms to a whole nother level. And so what we did is we built AI course creation, and I'm going to show you a little cool aspect of that we just released recently. But really the bigger payoff is AI directly to our users, whether it's helping learners in real time, develop new skills, plan out their career, all that kind of stuff. Administrators tuning our site to be more effective, course creators using AI to analyze course statistics and upgrade their courses. It can help everybody. And so, the area that I'm focusing on in today's webinar is the newly launched Learn tool, but I'm also going to give a sneak peek at some of the other areas as well. So the Learn tool is all about learning in the moment as opposed to learning through a course. And I'm going to share my screen now. Let's see, share my screen here. just to give you a flavor of the Learn tool in action. So, this is our learning platform user interface. I'm not going to spend much time talking about core platform functionality, but instead on this agent. So you click here down on the floating agent button, and it's going to give you a list of things that it can do for you. Obviously, creating a course is one of those options we've had for a long time now, and that tool is quite mature. Here is the Learn tool, though. Enjoy learning anything quickly with the help of an AI agent. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And the first thing is that the agent knows all about you. It knows which courses you are enrolled in, which courses you've completed. It knows your scores about everything. It knows your job title. It knows your organization. It knows tons and tons of stuff. And every time it interacts with you, it's updating its memory. So if you happen to mention that you like cats, then it will upgrade its memory to say Graham likes cats. And so everything that it's doing for you is taking all of that into account in every single interaction. And so based on what I'm doing right now, it says, here are some things based on what I know about you that you might be interested in. Now, I've never clicked on this, forensic DNA analysis techniques, but it does sound interesting. So I might actually click on that. Or I could go in here and I could say, developing logos for Spanish tech companies. That's like a completely random thing that I've never even tried before, but I'm going to go for it and see what happens. So I'm going to click here. And what you're asking about can be as specific as you like. So it could be developing logos for a Spanish solar-powered company, taking budget into account, anything that you want. Now, obviously, if you wanted to, you could do this in ChatGPT. And I want to emphasize the fact that CYPHER Agent is not competing directly against Gemini or OpenAI or any of these companies. We actually use both of those companies' AIs to power our CYPHER Agent. What we're focused on is an agent for all things learning, very carefully tuned to that particular audience. So for example, if somebody's using our learning platform, they might be taking a course in logo design, but then they notice, hey, I'm interested in drilling down a little bit deeper. The other thing is that we don't want to just generate a wall of text. So ChatGPT and Gemini, et cetera, are really good at conversational, like endless scrolling style. We want to tune our user interface to be much better structured for learning environments. So in this particular case, you'll notice that number one, adds a little image to make it look good. Number two, gives you a nice intro. Number three, gives you a really nice graphical concept map. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm learning about a subject, I always like to zoom in, 10,000-foot view on the subject. Here are all the things that are part of this. And then I want to be able to navigate in multiple different ways. I want to be able to click directly on a concept because that was what I was looking for. Or I might want to browse sequentially by clicking next section. It's almost, reading this thing like a book. And at any point, I might want to talk to the agent to learn more. So we call this a conversational tutorial. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a tutorial in the sense that it's drilling down little by little into an area, but it's conversational in that I can say, give me examples of innovation in the Spanish tech sector, because this is something that it mentioned. And I'm like, hey, I'm kind of curious. I want to drill down a bit more into that. So here is an example of the conversational mode. And then it goes into a little bit more detail. So it's not a course, because courses are somewhat one way. This is deeply personalized, which courses generally are not, because they have to be one size fits all. But it is a tutorial style. So if I go back to introduction, I can go, I'm interested in this, current, let's see, this particular concept. So I click on it. Notice this is the concept. It's creating a memorable visual identity. And then this is the AI generating content for this. So as you can imagine, if you want to learn something in the moment, this is a really pleasant, efficient way to do so. You're generally going to get a better experience than going out to your trusty AI. And I use OpenAI every day. This is not a replacement for OpenAI. This is a very learning focused, tuned thing for a learning platform. But this to me is a much more pleasant experience and much more guided experience than you would ever normally see. A few more things I want to mention. Obviously, one of the things that you anticipate is people saying, well, what about errors in the content? We don't want to give people a learn tool and then have it spit out a bunch of stuff filled with errors. So one of the things that we learned in our content course creation tool is that AI Crosscheck is a really powerful tool to deal with this kind of situation. So when you build a course in our content creation tool, we use one premium AI for generating the content. And right now we're using some of the top models from OpenAI. And then we use a top model from Google to then read the content that was generated by the first AI and then call out any potential inaccuracies. And we do exactly the same thing in real time in our Learn tool. So you see here where it says accuracy verified. So what we did is we took all the content coming out that was being streamed, passing it to another premium AI, which then scrubs it. So our view is if you use a premium AI for generation, then another premium AI to cross-check, and everything looks good, it's very, very likely to be accurate. It's not 100% guaranteed, but way more likely to be accurate than if you just used a single premium AI. To the best of my knowledge, we're the only company right now that does premium AI cross-check, by the way. So this gives you another level of confidence. If there are any inaccuracies, then we will actually pop up a little tooltip and you can click and the learner can actually see why the AIs disagree with each other, which we actually view as being more educational than just saying inaccuracy and then blank out the screen or something weird like that. We're also really big believers in binge learning. I love it when my son binge learns. Hey, Daddy, I've been learning about islands and now I'm going to learn all about transport costs because, it costs money to ship things to an island. It's like, that's an example of a brain that's in curiosity mode. You don't want to slow it down. You want it to be as frictionless as possible. So down here, notice it's also showing related subjects, branding strategies for tech startups. And here's another good adjacent area. While it's doing that, I'm just refreshing myself with some morning coffee. And here we go. And all of the stuff that it's generating is persisted for future use. So if I close out of here and I go, start typing, here is something that I did on today, 18/8/19. If I click on it, it will go exactly back to where I was before. I can see all the areas that I had generated. I can see any questions that I might have asked and the responses. So it's 100% persistent for future use by the AI. So what I want to show you now is something which is about to come out, which is a natural evolution of this tool. We've got quite a lot of plans for where this particular capability is going, but this is the first one that's coming out, which is proprietary data. So, typically in most environments, you're going to have a bunch of proprietary data. It might be, if you're in the marketing department, it might be, design guidelines for your marketing team. It might be things that we want to emphasize in our marketing materials. If it's sales, it might be your tweaks to MedPick, which are, unique to you. And you want your users to have access to that information through the Learn system if they have access rights to that proprietary information. So what you can do in our system is you can go into the resources catalog, which is a really mature part of our system. It's got, infinite scroll when you upload any artifact, which could be a course template, a question bank, a rubric, a file. You can scope it. You can say, this is available to everyone in the entire system. This is only available to people in organization marketing or in the sales organization or engineering organization. or you can have personal assets that only you can access. So what we did is we leveraged that so that any file that you upload, whether it's a Google Doc, a PDF, a PowerPoint, a video, etc., you can enable for use in our Learn system. And the underlying technology that we use is something called a vector store. We might change that label before we go live with this thing, but I can say, show me all the files that right now that have been enabled for the Learn tool. And it's showing me this document called Ultratel Omni, which I previously uploaded. And what you'll notice here is where it says vector store, I can add something to a vector store, remove it from a vector store, enable or disable from the Learn tool. So it's a super easy process. You go, I'll show you what you do just in case you're interested. You go add a file, upload the file, and once you've uploaded it, you check a box that says add it to the vector store. So once you've done that, our AI system ingests this entire document, which is a document on a fictitious company and a fictitious technology called the Omni Continuum Protocol. And it's like the flux capacitor from Back to the Future. So tons and tons of details about this thing. It's not trivial. The temporal alignment engine, the cognitive resonance layer. It's actually quite funny. So once you've uploaded these documents, and you can upload hundreds or thousands of them, there's no limit to the storage capacity of this thing, then anyone who goes into the Learn tool who has been granted access to that doc, either for the whole site or business, can then learn about it. So I'm going to go into here, Learn. I'm going to say the Ultratel Omni, which, like I say, does not exist on the internet at all. So I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, I want to learn in the moment about this very important system. And now the CYPHER agent is going to be generating a really nice interactive conversational tutorial all about that proprietary data. So here we go. And you'll notice it also puts this little handy dandy eye. And if you hover over it, it's telling you that this particular information came from that particular document. And quite soon we might allow people to click in it and see if they actually want to go to the document. And we'll most likely provide a way to strongly indicate areas that were brought from the web versus from a document. But you get the general idea. I can go into this thing and I can learn about it in the moment, about this proprietary stuff, just like anything else. So this is a really cool functionality that takes the existing Learn tool, takes it to the next level. This is going to be coming out. This new option is going to be coming out very soon. But wait, there is more, as Steve Jobs used to say. So one thing that we're working on is the ability to inject proprietary imagery into the Learn system as well. So if that document also included diagrams about the Ultratel Omni, or you had a sales proprietary document that showed a life cycle of your proprietary sales process, or you had a support document for your support stuff that shows pictures of engines, doesn't make any difference. Pretty soon when you go into the Learn tool, it's going to surface those exact images from your proprietary data straight into the interactive learning tutorial. So that's a really nice new feature that we're working on. Another thing that we're working on is tutoring mode. So this is more tutorial mode. It's like what they sometimes call direct instruction, which means that it's just telling you about stuff. But in the upcoming tutorial mode, you'll be able to click Tutor Me, and then it will assess your knowledge of something and then gradually ask you questions and then dig into a particular area, which is really good if you are using the Learn tool for digging into an advanced area that you're not familiar with, and then you want to learn about it in a more gentle manner. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on in the Learn tool, but hopefully this gives you an idea about how nice it is, even relative to the typical chatbot wall of text. You know, I'm not a big fan of wall of text. It works, but it can be so much better. And once this thing has done this page, I'm going to show you another really nice part of the Learn tool. Let me just close it. It's taking a little while there. So part of what we're doing in the Learn capability is to integrate it deeply into our platform. So it's not meant to be this standalone little chatbot. It's meant to be something that knows all about you, but also about your courses and the skills that you are currently learning. So let's just say, for example, that you are enrolled in, let me just pick one here, design patterns. I think this one will work. And inside of design patterns, these are skills that you are working on. And these skills maps can be created by your own instructors. They can be generated by AI. And we have about 1,000 predefined skill maps for tons of different careers built into our resources catalog. But regardless of how they are here, if you ever see a skill in a course and you go, I actually would like to learn a bit more about that, here is an example of a deep integration into our platform. So you can select one or more skills from any area, click Learn Using AI, and then what it will automatically do is to launch the Learn tool onto those particular skills. So this already exists, this particular integration point, but we are busy building a whole bunch of additional integration points between now and the end of the year. Another integration point that will be available before the end of the year is down here. So you notice you're learning about something and it's saying, well, here are some related subjects. So fairly soon, you're also going to see related courses. And what it will do, it will use its AI capabilities to look at your course catalog, look at the courses that you're already in or the ones you have completed, and it will also look at courses in any third-party catalogs that you have integrated your CYPHER platform into. So if you've integrated into LinkedIn or Go1 or Open Sesame or any of those guys, it will know about all the courses that are available there. So if you're learning about in a particular subject, in this case, basic camera operation, it might say, here's an Open Sesame course related to what you're learning about. So hopefully you get the general idea that we're really interested in seamless integration and flow between traditional course learning, learning in the moment, and making those bi-directional. You're stuck in the course, launch the Learn tool on that particular skill. You're in the Learn tool, you want to learn more, here is a course that you can click on. And this is another big differentiator. If you were thinking, well, what about ChatGPT? ChatGPT does not have that level of knowledge and probably won't, at least for years and years, where we're building it in right now. So those cover a lot of the areas of the Learn tool. I'll also mention in passing that it's multilingual. So if your profile language is set to Chinese, you can use the Learn tool in Chinese. You can learn it in Spanish. You can use whatever language that you want. But I also now want to kind of wrap up today's session by talking about some other very nice things that we've been doing recently. First one is AI imagery, which I think I previewed in the last webinar. It's actually live now. So anyone who's a CYPHER Learning customer can use this immediately. So I'm going to build a course and it's going to be on digital leadership. I'm going to get assistance from the AI. And we're really into, point and click AI here. So no prompting necessary. This is going to be for adults. It's going to be casual style. It's going to be in English. Step by step is cool. If you do that, I think I'm going to do step by step rather than one shot, just to showcase another cool thing that you might not be aware of. I want AI for tile images. I want micro learning format. And in the modules, in the content, I am going to include images and I'm going to generate new AI imagery, which is really, really nice. So you can select from all kinds of image styles. I'm going to go with 3D model. It's a micro course, so I don't want text on the images, so I'm going to leave that off. And my tile imagery, I want to be 3D model as well. So there's a lot more. You can have digital voiceovers, all kinds of stuff. That's enough for now. So I'm going to get it started. So while I'm talking with you about some other cool things, it's going to build out that course with this new AI imagery option. AI imagery, by the way, is really nice because you don't have to worry about copyright at all. So when you do micro format courses, for example, which are more like bite-sized cards that you go through, images are normally used as a eye candy. They're not necessarily designed for like really deep technical stuff. So this is a perfect case where if you pull them from the web, you're going to have to then get copyright access to all those things. It's just like a time drag. If you do AI imagery, it does a great job, no copyright at all. Now, if you haven't seen step by step, what this does, it pauses as it's going through the course creation step. Like step one is, what are all the skills that this course is going to do? And because it's paused, I can go in there and I can add additional skills, edit skills, remove skills, do whatever I want. And when I'm happy with the skills that the course is going to teach, then I click continue. So now it's going to continue on its way. It's going to build the course overview, and then the structure, which is the flow of the course. Then it's going to pause again so I can alter the flow of the course, add modules, remove modules before continuing with the next step. Now, while it's doing this, I want to talk a little bit about where CYPHER Agent is going. So we have quite an ambitious vision for CYPHER Agent. As I mentioned, we look at it like a personal agent for all things learning. So it's not just about learning new stuff, but if you're an instructor, it's helping you build courses. It's helping you refine your courses. It's helping you analyze data from your courses. If you're a learner, it's understanding your career progression. It's recommending new careers. It's analyzing which skills you are lacking. It's advising you which skills you might want to do. It's helping you build an action plan for learning new skills. It's helping you to assess your skills. And all of this stuff is going to be available by the end of this year. So while I showed you the learn functionality, which is the first part of the learner-facing AI, I want to underscore the fact that we want our agent to help people upskill, reskill, self-assess, practice, come up with plans, actionable plans, contact you when it's time to review a skill. This is where CYPHER Agent is going, and it's going there really fast. Now, going back to this demonstration, here are all the modules that it built out. You can rearrange them through drag and drop. You can edit them, you can add them, you can remove them. And then when you're satisfied, you click continue. Now it's going to start building out the section structure, which is the sequence of steps that you want within your module. And then those, then you can then review and then continue. One of the things while it's doing its thing, so I used to be a professional educator. I used to teach computer science at UT Dallas. I founded a corporate training company. I was teaching high tech all over the United States. And when I was building a course, I pretty much had to come up with the module structure, the section structure, the good old fashioned way, using my brain cells. And then once I thought I had a pretty good direction, I would essentially commit. Because once you've actually started building out the content, it's really hard to go back and rethink the flow of the course. And one of the fantastic things about AI is that you can build 3 or 4 versions of a course in minutes. And in the instructions box, when you build a course, you can say, take this angle, come from the view of the CEO and digital leadership. But you could build another course that says, structure this more from the perspective of the employees within the company. And you can build a whole ton of courses, lots of variations, super fast. And then the one that you like the most, you can then decide that's the one I like and go in and then refine it and edit it and make it yours and put all that time and effort into it. So this AI basically enables rapid iterative development of courses, which is not really feasible in any cost-effective way pre-AI. So even if you decided, I don't like AI, I want to build all of my courses myself by hand, the old-fashioned way, AI is still super useful because it can brainstorm so many different course ideas, even if you don't want to use it for the final course. I don't know why you would do it 100% manually, but you could. And obviously, whatever the AI is generating is fully editable. So even when it's done its thing, you can still add modules, remove sections, edit the content, do whatever you want. So if you use an AI for course development, there is nothing in the output that you actually have to stay with if you don't like it. Now we're getting to the end of this thing. So what it's doing now is we've done the module structure, which was here. So this is the structure of the modules, the flow, and it's built the section structure, which you can see here. And now it's building the content for all of these modules. And before AI imagery, the only option you really had when it was building a section was a image suggestion from the web. Or if you built a course from proprietary data that we've supported for a long time. So if you build a course from PDF, it could actually suggest images from your PDF file in the course. But now what it's going to do, it's going to start building AI images. Now it hasn't got to that point yet. What it's doing is building out the text part of the course. So this is what a micro course looks like without the image, which is quite boring. But you wait and see what it looks like when it adds the images and the automatic transitions. There we go. The first one appeared. So in this particular case, here is what it looks like when you've got an actual image. Like this. And this was built using an AI. And it was using a model that's very specific to image generation. And if you don't like this image, you can click replace. And you can actually type in a prompt of a replacement image and the AI will generate it in real time and you can select that. Or if you wanted to use something from the web, it will on demand find potential images from the web that you could put in there if you wanted instead. So AI imagery is another example where we're always trying to make the life of course creators easier. We always want to give everyone save time and money. But we have tons of things we're going to do in course creation. We're going to be adding AI video. We're going to be AI animations and flashcards and all kinds of stuff built directly into courses that you create to continue to raise the bar on same view time and leveraging the power of AI. Let me see if here's another one, I bet. Here's another example of an AI image in action. So I hope that's given you a pretty good idea about where the Learn tool is going. I'm very, very excited about this. And I actually use this with my son. It's getting so good now. I can go in and say, hey, how could I develop my own private island? And it does an incredibly good job, all driven by AI. We're always finding ways to bidirectionally integrate AI tools into traditional course tools. We are continuing to invest in the course creation tool. So about every month, there's a new capability. And the last thing, of course, is to underscore the ambitious view of the CYPHER personal agent, which is to provide AI functionality like skills development, career development, skills assessment, skills practice, in addition to the Learn tool that I showed you today. And without further ado, I will hand you back to Caitlin and take any questions that you might have posted.
Thanks so much, Graham. We've only had one question in the audience. I think people are excited about what they see. The only question was the difference between the CYPHER agent for learner and the CYPHER agent for course creator. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So there's only one agent. So the agent is the CYPHER agent, CYPHER personal agent. And there are capabilities that the agent has. So you always get to the CYPHER agent the same way, to click that little button on the lower right. And that once that agent pops up, it has capabilities that it offers you. If you're an instructor or administrator, adding a course will be one of the capabilities that it shows. If you've enabled it for learners, because you don't have to enable it, you can enable CYPHER agent, but only make it available to instructors, not a big deal. But if you enable it for learners, then when they click that FAB button, the floating agent button, then they will see that Learn tool there. So there's only one agent. You can enable or disable the functionality for a particular audience, And as we add skills and careers and assess, you would see them appear in that agent menu as well.
Right. Thanks for that. Yeah, so if you're a customer on this call, I do encourage you to check out the CYPHER Agent Adoption Kit page. There's a lot of information there about how you can use CYPHER Agent. We haven't yet updated that content to include the great new functionality that Graham was referring to about referencing the internal documents. We will, however, you can still get a really good overview for how the product works and how you might choose to use it. So I do encourage you to go there. If you need the link, I will include it in the follow-up to this this webinar, so we can get that
I
out to you.
saw one other question, which is, will you be able to enable it for specific learners? So not right now. I think that the next step that we're going to do is to enable it or disable it for on a per organization basis. So within our platform, there's the site-wide scope, and then you can have the marketing department or the sales department or the engineering or sub-departments. It might be the support team that's under engineering. So the most widely requested one is, I want to enable it for just the support team, or I want to enable it just for the sales team. So that's the next step that we've got. If we find enough people wanted to enable it for individual users, we can certainly do that, but organization scope is the next step for us.
Great, that's great to know. Yeah, it's an evolving tool, so do stay tuned to our webinars and our product news and all the things we communicate out to you. Hopefully you're on the mailing list for our customer newsletter, where we do include information like this. And we will keep you posted on what's coming. This is really exciting. This is the future of learning, as Graham mentioned, and it's a way of augmenting your current course. If you are concerned, how introducing a tool like this might impact how you measure success as a learning organization. I know a lot of learning organizations are really focused on measuring success by measuring the completion of a formal course. I really encourage you to go back and look at the Pro Tips webinar that Alexi and I did on how to measure success in learning and how to expand the scope of what success looks like, so that you can help make the business case for tools that kind of sit outside of the scope of a formal course. We have a lot of great resources we want to make available to you. And also, if you have any requests about things you want to learn more about, let us know. We do CYPHER Live twice a month, and we are looking for topics that you guys want to learn more about. So please
Actually,
let us know.
what you said reminds me of one last thing, which is,
Okay.
I was thinking about my son again. Like, as a dad, I am so happy that he's using AI in tandem with his own brain to develop this island idea. It's like, what a fantastic experience. But we do support the idea of guardrails, with something I neglected to mention, which is, you can put a guardrail in place that says, only allow learners to use this for things that are obviously relevant to their job. So you're not going to be able to get a software developer learning about cryptocurrency trading unless you want them to be able to. But I look at it like, I'm so proud and excited when I see my kid learning this random thing, because I know it just makes him a better human. And you can just imagine releasing the Learn tool in an organization, and every day you see people learning about all kinds of really cool things in the moment that maybe they would not have learned about before. And you could say, yeah, but I'm not measuring them, so I don't want this. Or you could be like me and my son go, this is amazing to see our employees learning so much cool stuff every day. So just want to leave you with that parting thought.
Yes. Well, and also as an admin, you can actually get insight into what your employees are learning about through the admin portal, and that can give you some idea of what learning needs are people pursuing right now that maybe you haven't addressed with catalog
Oh,
content.
and there is one more question, which is about, does any of this stuff ever get used to train AIs? The answer is no. We only use premium AIs that we license with guarantees from those vendors that anything shared through that API is never used to train anything. So we're not using some freebie API, which, uses for training. We're really, really careful that none of this stuff is ever used for training by anyone.
Right. Yeah. Good call out.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Graham. Thank you for that great overview. Thank you to those of us
Thank you, everybody.
who joined, and we will send out our follow-up soon. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.